Brilliance Audio presents In Defense of Troublemakers, The Power of Dissent in Life and Business by Charlan Nemeth, performed by Joyce Bean. The classic TV show Candid Camera might not have been the most scientific demonstration of the power of the majority, but it was one of the funniest. You may remember this program. Alan Funt did experiments on the street and secretly videotaped the reactions of everyday people. One segment from 1962, which I loved, was called Face the Rear. He had 3 people, who were paid accomplices, enter an elevator with one innocent rider. Once the doors closed, the 3 accomplices all turned to the rear of the elevator. When the elevator doors opened, it was revealed that the 4th rider had followed that majority and was facing the rear. After the doors closed again, the 3 accomplices then faced the side. When the doors reopened, all 4 were facing the side, although the innocent rider was looking very confused. As this segment continued, the 3 accomplices removed their hats. The innocent rider did too. When they put their hats back on, he followed suit. I still show this segment to students, and they still roar when they see it, simply because it gets so quickly to something essential about human behavior. The man in the elevator had no idea why the other 3 passengers were turning around, but he assumed, as most all of us would, that they knew something he didn't. Perhaps the doors opened at the rear. And so he followed their lead. And even when the door's opening revealed that the majority was wrong, they weren't facing the door after all, he still followed what the majority was doing. Majorities have enormous power to get us to agree with them or to follow them. That power is direct and persuasive. We see it everywhere, including in decisions that affect people's lives, such as those made in cockpits or on surgical teams or during jury deliberations. We've already seen that the majority's decision that landing gear was the critical issue caused everyone on the crew of United Airlines Flight 173 to follow, and thus to neglect other critical issues. With juries, the outcome of a jury deliberation can be predicted with 90% certainty based solely on the majority position on the first ballot. The jury may take hours or days to reach a verdict, but 90% of the time its final position is the majority position on the first vote. That they win doesn't mean that majorities are necessarily correct. Rather, it means that majorities exert immense pressure on our thoughts and feelings, as well as our judgments and decisions. In fact, as we will see in this chapter, majorities are so powerful that they can trick us into believing things that aren't true. Ordinary people, when faced with a majority opinion that is clearly incorrect, will nonetheless side with that obvious falsehood over 1/3 of the time. When the judgment involves ambiguity, as, for example, questions of politics or business often do, the majority's power is even greater. My colleagues and I have found that people can follow the majority as much as 70% of the time, even when that majority is wrong. The power and pull of the majority is all around us, even if we don't notice it, and even if we are unaware of its potential influence over us. Majorities get us to agree. They get us to follow them, often without reflection. This is especially true when they are unchallenged. We may believe that we generally think for ourselves and are persuaded only by strong arguments, but we will see that when faced with the opinions of others, we often agree without good arguments or any arguments at all. We can even lose sight of what we believe and what we know on our own. The simple fact that they are in the majority, that they are the many, has this particular power to persuade. Following the majority can make sense if we think that the majority is right. They may be right, and they often are, but they are not necessarily right. The problem is that we assume that they are right just because they are the majority. To some extent, bestsellers such as The Wisdom of Crowds inadvertently reinforce the assumption that truth lies in numbers.